What's going on, everyone? Hope y'all are doing well today. In today's video, I just wanted to kind of voice my recent thoughts on kind of numerous things going on in and around the Philadelphia 76ers team organization this year because I haven't gotten to make as many Sixers related videos, haven't gotten to talk about the Sixers as much as I'd like. I really haven't gotten to watch them as much as I like. I'm going home for Christmas break very soon, hoping to watch them a lot more frequently in the next month as the basketball season starts to get going, as the football season starts to wind down. But just these early on in the Sixers season, 13-11 right now, I've just gotten the sense from the fan base, from even the people that cover the team, maybe even the team itself, you can kind of infer from certain players what they're saying in the media, what the body language is on the court. It's a lot of not necessarily disappointment, but like everybody wants more from this team, and I certainly am in that camp as well, but I just think that the circumstances around the team right now put us in a really hard situation. Like, just with the whole Ben situation that has been talked about ad nauseum at this point, and he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Unfortunately, Daryl Morey's been very clear that he's not going to trade Ben unless it's for what he deems to be a equal return, and until I will say that I do think Morey needs to lower his standards a little bit because while I don't want to throw away this season. Like I want to have I think this team as currently constructed, if we get the right matchup, can win a playoff series. That's really all I'm looking for from this team. So I'm not necessarily asking Daryl to trade Ben this season, but by next year, opening tip off of the 22-23 season, we should have a new piece on this team to help shape the team. And that's why, a lot of Sixers fans have been groaning about the potential of a Damian Lillard, or excuse me, not Damian Lillard, a CJ McCollum for Ben Simmons trade, where maybe we get McCollum and Covington back, or McCollum and a couple of picks for Ben. Um, and a lot of people are like, well, that doesn't work. McCollum can't defend just like Curry. Maxey isn't an elite defender either. Two small guards in the backcourt, three small guards in the backcourt, depending on how you view Seth Curry's role on the team if this trade would go through. All I have to say to that, I think you gotta take. I've always been a huge CJ McCollum fan. I think he's a very talented scorer. He just suffered a collapsed lung, which might put any of trades for him in general, not just with the Sixers, on hold for a while. But nonetheless, he's a very talented scorer. He can handle the ball in spurts if needed. He hasn't gotten a lot of chance to do that with Dame in Portland, but you know, went to Lehigh, so he knows the area. I think just to have him on this team this year instantly makes us better because we're giving up a guy who is not playing right now. To just put CJ McCollum on this team. Now, yes, there's fit issues. I understand that. Like, as I addressed with Seth and Maxey, that's a very undersized backcourt that doesn't defend a lot. And Tobias, there's been talk about I've always been more pro Tobias than most. I understand the issues that he brings to the team right now. Um, I think he's actually was better suited for the roster last year than this year, but that's another topic that I don't want to totally dive into right now. But it's focused on McCollum here. Like, I don't see the harm because he's an asset. He's under contract, and we can flip him in the offseason. There's always going to be someone in the league who needs a scoring guard, someone who can just get to the basket. Because there are going to be a few teams this year that are going to end the season, and they're going to be out of the playoffs, and they're going to be thinking that they didn't have enough scoring this year as much as they wanted, and CJ McCollum could perfectly, amplify that. So I think he's a perfect trade chip to have on the team. Now, I don't know if salary wise it would work. I'm assuming Ben for him straight up is okay. If we were to get Covington back as well, or a Larry Nance type, I think we'd have to throw in someone along the lines of Cork Maz or Danny Green. I would hope Danny Green, because otherwise I don't really want to like. People have been saying, oh, trade Maxey and Simmons and a pick for Dame. Like, I don't want to give up Tyrese Maxey, and I'm not saying he'll ever reach the level that Damian Lillard is at right now or was recently. He's been a little down this year. I think he'll bounce back eventually. But we have Maxey if we want him because we have his negotiating rights when he hits restricted free agency in 3 years. We can max him out if he's still that type of player, which I assume he will be. That's what I project him to be. We can have him for as long as Dame and CJ were in Portland. I don't know why we would bring in Damian Lillard to a team that I don't think can win the title. hypothetically, you put Damian Lillard on the Sixers right now, replace Tyrese Maxey and Ben Simmons. Well, Ben Simmons isn't playing, but you've replaced Tyrese with Dame. Yes, we're a bit better in the present, but we're not beating Brooklyn. We're not beating Milwaukee. You could even argue we're not beating Chicago or Atlanta if Atlanta gets right. And Chicago's looked absolutely phenomenal, even though they lost one of their best wing defenders in Patrick Williams. They've continued to defy the odds. So, for me, this team, I'm really enjoying the team because there's a lot of fun guys. We finally have a lot of good 3-point shooters on this team. Seth Curry has been freaking incredible all year. Tyrese Maxey is a most improved player candidate. Uh, I'm not going to get into whether I think he deserves to win it or not right now, but for the Sixers, he's been the most improved player on the Sixers. That's certainly for sure. Matisse Thybulle continues to be an electric defensive player. If you follow me on Twitter, I've been begging Doc Rivers to put him in the starting lineup permanently because without Ben on the team, we have the spacing that Matisse can play starters minutes. Tobias Harris, he has his rough nights, but he also has nights that he gets it done, albeit not as frequently as he did it last year for us, but he still can score 20 a game. And then Niang was a great signing. He can drain threes all day. Korkmaz has had a really strong season. Even Shake Milton, who I'm not a huge fan of per se, not especially as a point guard as opposed to a shooting guard, but he's been scoring quite consistently lately as well. The issue for this team continues to be no real ball handler. Maxey's done an admirable job, I would say, but I would like to see a point guard on this team. I would really like to see some, especially for the bench unit. A real creator could really help us go a long way. I don't necessarily think that's Damian Lillard at all. I would simply look to go to the buyout market or trade a second round pick for someone. Like, just shore up the position. All I'm asking for this season is a playoff victory. But as I was saying, the McCollum trade is also something that I would heavily consider if I was Daryl Morey, because I think you can get assets for McCollum that maybe you can then turn around and ship off for the star player. The star player is not going to be Damian Lillard. It's just not. He's not a fit for Philly at this time and this place. Now, if you can somehow finagle Tobias Harris into the trade as well, and maybe it's Ben and Tobias for Dame, and maybe we have to take back a contract like Yusuf Nurkic is on an expiring contract. Maybe we take him out on, maybe flip him somewhere. Maybe then you're talking, because then we have the salary opened up to sign a third star or go after a third star in a trade that we could pair with Dame and Joel in the offseason. But if we're keeping Tobias Harris on this team, if we can't get rid of him, I just don't think Damian Lillard is a realistic trade chip at this point in the season. And the bottom line is, I guess what I've been trying to get to this whole video is I'm not sure what the long-term future for the Sixers is. Joel Embiid is a top 10 player in the NBA. We have that going for us. That's always going to keep us competitive as long as he's healthy. Maxey can develop into an all-star. I really believe that. I believe Thybulle is maybe just the best wing defender in the entire NBA, and I wish he would get to display that more consistently and more frequently. And we have all the shooters around Joel Embiid to make the offense work around him. But until we get a true second star, someone on the level of that Jimmy Butler in 2019, because that's the closest we've been to a title, and it's because we had a true second star. And Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris played their roles perfectly because they weren't the two stars. They were the third and fourth best players on that team, and they both, in the playoffs, were very, very good. Ben Simmons was pretty good in that 2019 playoffs for the most part. He was he may have had some free throw issues, but it wasn't to the point where it was irrehensible like last year's playoffs. So, honestly, right now, I just kind of want to enjoy the ride of these really fun players. It reminds me a little bit of the first playoff team we had back in 2018 when you had Dario and Cove and Redick and all those guys on that team. Rashawn Holmes coming off the bench, TJ. There's a lot of likable guys on this team, and I want to win a playoff series. I want to be competitive. But really, I'm not sure where this team goes in the immediate future. But if I had to wrap this up, I would have to say, if I could talk to Daryl Morey, I would really encourage him to lower his standards for Ben. Not to the point where we're taking Harris LeVert back. Those trades were ridiculous. I was really upset that some people, it looked not that it necessarily looked like it was going that direction, but some people were really on board for a Harris LeVert and Malcolm Brogdon for Ben Simmons. I was just that's not a needle mover. That's, if anything, that's going to set us back a little bit. But a McCollum type trade, have him for half a season, let the Sixers fans enjoy his scoring for a bit, and then ship him on over, maybe for a more versatile person that can fit the team. Or hell, you could even bring McCollum in and then trade Tobias if possible. And that's going to be pretty hard, unfortunately. So it would probably have to be with McCollum going elsewhere. But overall, I just encourage all Sixers fans to try and enjoy this season for what it is and try to enjoy Joel Embiid. He just put up 43 points against Charlotte. He was freaking incredible. Enjoy Matisse Thybulle's all defensive caliber play. Enjoy the growth of our backcourt, and just hope that next season, in the offseason, we still have the best general manager in the NBA. I firmly believe in Daryl Morey and his ability to lead the Sixers to a championship. It's only his second year of his tenure. Think about how long it took for him in Houston. Like, he had a blueprint. He built the Yao and Tracy, and then when that went wrong, he reconstructed, and then he had a great run with James Harden, and then he kind of reconstructed again. They bring Chris Paul in. Yes, he never won a championship, but he got damn close. I really believe he will be able to pull this one out for the city of Philadelphia. One day, Daryl Morey will guide the 76ers to a championship, but it's only the second year of his tenure. We got to be patient with him. I know we won a championship, but we got to be patient. So that's all I can say. Trust the process. We're beating Charlotte tomorrow. Thank y'all for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I hope to have a lot more content coming in the next few weeks. So have a fantastic rest of your day.